I have a Generac generator that gets a overspeed alarm after running about 5 minutes. The engine starts fine and runs at a normal speed at first, then after about a minute you can hear the RPMs get higher and eventually it's running very high RPMs, then it shuts down on overspeed.
Do you know the model of your Generac generator? How old is it?
It's an older generator, think it's a 2005 Generac generator. Item ###, serial ###.
How long has this been going on with your Generac generator? What have you tried so far?
For about a month. I haven't tried anything yet.
Anything else we should know to help you best?
Not that I can think of.
Hello, my name is. I am going to assist you with this. The first thing you need to do is to verify if the unit is actually overspeeding or not. Connect a frequency meter to the output of the genset and start it up. Monitor the frequency carefully until it shuts down. How high does the frequency go before the unit shuts down?
I'm pretty sure it's overspeeding. When it's doing the weekly exercise, the generator starts fine and it will ramp up very high RPMs, sounding like it's running away with no control. I do not have a meter that tests frequency. I have to order one to test frequency.
Is the overspeed light flashing, or is it on solid?
It's on solid.
Then we are definitely going to have to test the frequency. You don't have to order a meter. Any auto parts store or hardware store will carry a meter that can measure frequency.
Okay, I will go get one in the morning and get back with you. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Just be aware that I work 2-day jobs and help on JustAnswer in the evenings. Tomorrow I leave for work at 6 and don't get home until about 7:30. You can post anytime, and I will get the message when I log on. I may not be able to reply to you right away, but I will reply.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for letting me know that. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
I check the frequency. When it starts it's around 60 Hz and when it's reviving up it's around 70-80 Hz. The battery was dead. I had to replace it. Also, it's the second battery it has killed that will not take a charge.
For it to run for 5 minutes before going to overspeed is unheard of. Your unit has an electronic governor. The controller gets a speed sense signal from the generator and adjusts the engine speed accordingly to maintain 60 Hz. The stepper motor, governor, is driven by a DC voltage. I have to wonder if the battery charge issue is what is causing that. Let's go there first. Underneath your control panel is a bunch of stuff. Locate the box that has 2 wire connectors at it, a 2-pin connector with wires 224B and 225B, and a 3-pin connector with 2 wires 13 and 0. This is your battery charger. Leave the genset off. Unplug the 3-wire connector. Testing at the pins on the charger itself with a meter, not the wires you removed from the charger. Wire 13 is positive, and wire 0 is negative. You should be reading about 13.4 volts DC. Now unplug the 2-wire harness, and set the meter to read VAC. Touch one probe to each of the wires. You should get about 16 VAC. What do you get?
I tested the 224B and 225B pins on the charger and it was reading 13.8 volts DC. I then tested the 2-wire harness and I'm only getting 2 VAC.
No, you need to check for DC voltage at the pins that would correspond to wires 13 and 0. 16 VAC goes into the charger on wires 224B and 225B, and 13 VDC comes out on wires 13 and 0. Can you please retest?
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Been a long day, lol. I got the side of the charger mixed up when I typed it back to you. I checked the 3-pin with DC 13 and 0. I got 13.8 DC 224B and 225B. I got 2 VAC.
If you are only getting 2 VAC into the charger, you can't be getting 13.8 VDC out. It would be more like 3 to 4 VDC.
I rechecked the voltage into charger and got a better connection. One wire was reading 5.4, other was 4.8 VAC.
Now I know why you are getting the readings you are. You don't test one wire then the other, you put 1 meter lead into wire 224B and the other meter lead into wire 225B at the same time.
Well, now that makes sense. Sorry about that. Thanks for being patient with me. I am getting 19 VAC going into charger.
That sounds way more better. Test the voltage at the battery itself. Make sure you are getting the 13.8 there.
I'm getting 12.7 at the battery with it hooked up. With it not hooked up, I am getting 13.8 on the leads that go to battery. I tested battery not hooked up, and it reads 12.7.
It sounds like the battery is shorted. Take it into an auto parts store and have it load tested.
It's a brand new battery. I just bought it today. If this means anything, but before I started unplugging wires, the lights on Gen was not on and I didn't have battery hooked. They normally only flash with the battery hooked up, and now they are flashing without the battery hooked up.
The lights are flashing because you do not have the exercise timer set. They will stop flashing when you go through a set cycle. Check/clean the inside of the battery cable ends. Make sure you are getting a good connection at the battery. Corrosion inside the cable ends will wreak havoc on the system. I also have to wonder if you had dirty connections at the charger. Unplug them and plug them back in several times to clean the connections.
I know it's BC of the exercise time, but the lights have only come on when I hooked the battery up. Until just now when you had me unplug those wires for the charger. Now it's working without the battery. I unplugged the connections and put them back a few times, and I cleaned the terminals. Nothing much on them, and I made sure connection was tight. I'm getting 12.8 at the battery now and 13.8 coming off charger still.
The lights are working without the battery because they are being powered by the charger. That tells me you had a dirty connection at the charger. And the battery is coming up, so you should be good to go there. Let the battery saturate overnight, then try the engine again tomorrow.
Okay man, I really appreciate your help. I'm definitely learning a lot about these things. I'll let you know how the engine does in the morning.
Okey dokey. I am at my long job again tomorrow, so won't be able to reply until tomorrow night. No need to reply to this.
I checked the battery this morning. It is reading 13.8 now, so the charger did indeed charge the battery. I cranked up the generator and it only ran for about a minute before it shut down on the overspeed alarm.
Okay. I have uploaded a test for you to do. Please do test 12A, and let me know the results.
Okay, I did the test. The steeper motor checks out, it's functioning properly.
For the minute the unit will run, is it running smoothly, or is it surging? Does it start and just slowly keep creeping faster, or does it run good at 60 Hz and then just suddenly jump to 70-80?
Initially it runs smooth at 60 Hz for about 30 seconds, then you can hear it creeping up faster and faster until it shuts down on overspeed. It never surges, just running very fast.
I have uploaded some more tests for you. Please do test number 79, 80 and 81.
I have completed the 3 tests. The idle control transformer checked out good and is wired correctly.
Has someone possibly reset the mixer, carb, back to NG settings if running on LP, or vice versa?
No, I just looked at it, it's pushed into NG. I did just notice when looking down in there that they have a little bit of oil in the low spot under the mixer pin.
The oil is not going to cause an overspeed. The only thing left is to have someone come out and test the fuel system on the genset. This is not something you will be able to do yourself unless you have had gaseous fuel training and have the proper equipment.
Is that something the gas company would do? My father-in-law works for the gas company and he did recommend I get a different regulator for the Gen BC. The one that's going to it now doesn't regulate the gas the way it should. He says it's rated for much higher pressure than what is being supplied, so in other words the generator may not be getting enough gas to run properly. Do you think that could be the issue? You don't think the board is bad?
Yes, low gas pressure would definitely cause this. There are actually 2 regulators involved, the primary regulator from your gas main, and the demand regulator inside the genset. The primary regulator is the responsibility of the gas company. Unless you know someone, the gas company will not test the demand regulator, only the primary. A generator tech will only test the demand regulator, not the primary. But if you know your primary regulator is underrated, you definitely need to have that taken care of first. It would have been nice to know about that from the start.
I was just told this today by my father-in-law. He said had to get a different regulator for his generator, that the one the gas company supplies doesn't open enough to let enough gas through. I should have told you this earlier. I'm sorry, I didn't think it would cause the generator to run faster with less fuel. I can get my father-in-law to test the regulator on the generator as well tomorrow, and I'll let you know the result. Thanks again for all the help.
Okay.
I got the correct regulator installed and now the generator will run fine in manual at 63 HC output, but when I put it in auto and let it do the exercise it sputters and only puts out 30 HC and eventually shuts down. I found out the problem. I must have hit the dip switch on the control board that changes the exercise speed. It was set to low instead of normal. It's running fine now. Thanks for all the help.
Good deal. Thank you for using JustAnswer, and please take a moment to rate my assistance.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/YTHI.